Hi beautiful souls, it's Tan here today with another video on astrology for you, and today we're going to be looking at the North Node in the first house. So I have made an introduction video to the North Node, links up above and the description box below. So I highly recommend that you watch that video first so that you can know where I'm going with regards to my interpretation of the North Node, and then you can come back and watch this video. So if you have a North Node in the first house, you will automatically have a South Node in the 7th house. And whichever sign your North Node is in, your South Node is going to be the opposite sign immediately of that North Node. And sometimes in some, chart online, it does not show the South Node. So if it does not show the South Node, you'll know that it's always in the opposite point of the North Node. Living your life in your comfort zone is going to be like living your life in your South Node. Although it may feel comfortable, it will slowly cause you to feel discontentment. And on a soul level, it will feel like a decay of the soul. To move towards the North Node, but completely abandon the South Node is going to cause obsession and a bit of a fanaticism. You may overdo the house and the sign of the North Node if you are not balanced. So the idea here is that for all of us, we want to balance the North Node with our South Node. And this means that we move in the direction of our North Node, but we remember the skills, the talents that we have with regarding our South Node, and we always keep that within us. We don't abandon it completely. And if you can do that, we're going to feel like our life has meaning. And we are able to experience possibilities that we've never even considered before. And that is the magic of moving towards your North Node. So in this video, I will talk about the North Node in the first house and then the North Node in the first house through each of the signs. So with a North Node in the first house and a South Node in the 7th house, the fragmentation of the soul lies in the comforts of the dependency on others, and especially in the need to have a companion to walk hand in hand with you on this journey of your life. The soul falls easily into a pattern of using one's time and energy and submerging one's identity in solving and being able to solve the problems of others and adhering to their needs. Without the acknowledgement that you have once again been there for your friends and your partners and your acquaintances, you feel you have lost your identity. Yet with the acknowledgement, you still feel discontent and like your soul is slowly beginning to decay. Because you are here to integrate your soul through a process of forming an identity based solely on your passions and instinct. The first house is the house of the gut and the instinct, and the 7th house is the house of others' feedback, of taking surveys. So you can kind of see the difference here. You must come out from living in the shadow of others and needing a second, a third, and a fourth brain to reflect back to you who you are, based on how much you can be there for everyone. You must stop sacrificing your passions and your desires so that others could get what they want. When you first get in touch with your North Node, and this can happen at any time in your life depending on who you meet in your life, and what signs and houses the planets in your chart fall into and how they support you in that or how they may pull you back from that. But the first encounter with the North Node tends to lead to obsession, and with North Node in the first house, this can mean assertiveness, extreme assertiveness and independence, and sometimes even shutting off relationships completely. This placement sometimes indicates a person who remains single for a large period of their lives, sometimes up to 10 or 20 years. But this is your golden moment to cultivate the life that you want and to live that life. live your own life. What you do with this time, this period of independence, is crucial. If you spend this period with a mindset that you will never be in a relationship and you will never find a partnership again, you may not, because you are learning how to not need others, even in your mind. So how to let go of that mindset that energetically pulls you back. This North Node is magical in a sense that if you can drown yourself in your passions that come from your gut and your instinct, then the right relationship falls into your lap without you even having to struggle for it. This is alignment, because you are now in alignment with your passion, and the right person, so this is your passion, the right person will be on the parallel path to your journey through your passions. And that way you can meet up. And then you can have both, a balance of independence and partnership. So a couple of things that you can do to get in touch with having with your North Node in the first house is learn to listen to your gut instinct, your impulse in telling you who you are and what steps to take next in your life. Listening to that your stomach and that part of your body and the signals that it sends to you. Notice your passions as a child. What brings you bliss? Allow that back into your life and follow that. And just be. You don't need to think too much. You don't have to analyze. You don't have to overthink. You just have to be. That is very first house Aries energy. So the sign that your North Node is in will show the traits and the qualities that you'll need to develop as a part of your identity, as your aura, while you pursue your independence. So I'm going to give you a brief summary of having a North Node in each of the signs in the first house. This is just a brief summary, and if you want, a longer interpretation, you do need to take into consideration, your own chart, and if you have any planets in that house or that sign, and what aspects is it making to your North Node, and what is the totality of your energy patterns in your chart in general. And also you might want to consider your midheaven as well with regards to this. So if you have an Aries North Node in the first house, that means you have a Libra South Node in the 7th house. This is about becoming dynamic and a single-minded person. Being single-minded in the pursuit of your independence and kind of not giving a damn. Yet welcoming others to join you on your journey if they wish, but you are the one that's going to be the leader if they do join you. And kind of learning to develop a physical body that is invigorating, and just being athletic in general is really going to put you on that soul growth with your North Node. If you have a North Node in Taurus in the first house, that means your South Node is going to be in Scorpio in the 7th house. This means you are learning to become self-sufficient. A self-sufficient person, a stable person who is in touch with their 5 senses. You're pursuing your independence by listening to the rhythms of your body and the cycles of the earth around you. This is not about being, slow or lazy. It is about knowing how to not waste your values and your resources or your money, because you are the value and you are the resource and you are already the abundance. It's a simple path that you're taking, but it is your path. If you have a North Node in Gemini in the first house, that means you have a South Node in Sagittarius in the 7th house. So you're learning to become socially proper, having a bit of a social etiquette, pursuing your independence with a readiness to listen to others' opinions, even if you may not use it. But who knows, if one blue moon night you might. And being a bit in the moment, in the present moment, and spontaneous in regards to pursuing your independence, developing your logical mind and expressing your opinions. That is going to get you in touch with your soul growth. If you have Cancer North Node in the first house, that means you have a Capricorn South Node in the 7th house. This is about learning to become more vulnerable and emotionally attuned. Pursuing your independence by displaying emotional authenticity that inspires others. doing something when you are sort of in the mood for it, even if there's no plan or no strategy or no reason for it yet. Becoming an emotional leader and nurturing your path till it flowers and bloom. It might be a slow one, but when it blooms, it is beautiful. If you have a north node in Leo in the first house, that means you have a south node in Aquarius in the 7th house. And this is about becoming more flamboyant, fun, yet noble in character. Pursuing your independence by following your creativity. Coming out from the shadows, like really come out from the shadows and really shining. Becoming a generous and empowering leader of a group and, doing some sport along the way. If you have a Virgo north node in the 1st house, that means you have a Pisces south node in the 7th house, and this is about becoming more detail-orientated and practical. Pursuing independence by only doing what is necessary for productivity and efficiency and cutting out all the other flowery stuff. Understanding your personal growth and personal experiences and journey through a process of categorization and analysis. Being a leader in the fields of health and healing, probably. If you have a Libra north node in the 1st house, you have an Aries south node in the 7th house. This is about becoming physically, good looking, physically balanced, and having developing a likable personality. Pursuing independence with an understanding of the consequences of your actions. Developing an ability to have tact, diplomacy, and the right skills for networking and socializing with people who you may need to support you on your journey. If you have a Scorpio north node in the 1st house, you will have a Taurus south node in the 7th house. This is about developing an ability to become a pillar of emotional strength and having a true and authentic expression of the self. Pursuing your independence with strategy and willpower and perseverance. Developing crystal clear self-awareness. This can also mean that you're going to have to overcome and transform some subconscious patterns and motivations in order to pursue your independence. If you have a Sagittarius north node in the 1st house, that means you have a Gemini south node in the 7th house. And this is about becoming a truth seeker and speaker, being optimistic, and seeing the bigger picture. This is about pursuing independence after developing a vision, listening greatly to both instinct and intuition, and then going for it. Sticking to that vision, that is your goal. Traveling and physically going the distance and expanding your horizons, expanding your physical boundaries and seeing where your body, how far and how wide your body can go and travel, and enjoying the journey. It's not about the arrival, but it's about the journey. Having a Capricorn north node in the 1st house means that you have a Cancer south node in the 7th house, and this is about developing a character of becoming more a long-term planner. Pursuing independence with high integrity and never choosing the easy way out. No shortcuts and no going behind anyone's back. Becoming a leader and a master of your own life and of others. And kind of really, Cancer south node in 7th house, it's really about first solving any past family traumas, in order to be able to move towards your personal independence. So if you have a north node in Aquarius in the 1st house, that means you're going to have a south node in Leo in the 7th house. And this is about becoming more tolerant of others, and in turn becoming more tolerant of your own weirdness, quirks, and eccentricities. Pursuing independence with a goal in mind of how that journey is going to benefit others and humanity. Being an individual, yet belonging in a group. This is about developing that ability to do whatever the hell you want, no matter how weird it is. Living up to your personal ideals is what it comes down to at the end of the day. If you have a Pisces north node in the 1st house, that means you have a Virgo south node in the 7th house. And this is about Becoming more compassionate to those who you may think is pulling you back from your true path. Showing up for them, giving them love so that they can love themselves without having to depend on you for practical help anymore. This is about developing faith that you are going in the right direction, even though there may be no proof, no evidence that you are. That's the Virgo South Node, is always needing proof and evidence and doing research to prove that you're doing the right thing. But with Pisces, it's about faith. Guys, that is my interpretation of North Node in the first house and North Node in the first house through each of the signs. If you have any questions or anything you want to share with regards to this placement, do leave them in the comments below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button below if you haven't. If you already subscribed, then thank you very much for coming along. I do birth chart readings, synastry chart, and relationship chart readings. All the information is on my website. You can check that out. And I'll see you soon in the next video, beautiful souls. Have a beautiful day. Bye.